Okay, I'm surprised that I'm the first person to do a video review of the NISSIN I60 Speedlight. It's kind of odd. Let me get to that really quickly here in a second. Now, the latest firmware is version 4 on this, and I'll also get into that. And I'll do a second video review showing you a close-up of the camera and the Speedlight and the construction and what's going on with both. First, let me to point out, and it's not really an issue, I'm pointing out a thing about why it's, people ask me, why do you keep using those old Speedlights? It's like you got 30 old Speedlights. In continuous high shooting, just using pocket wizards, now I'd use the flash cue triggers, but in continuous high shooting, it can't actually cycle out transmissions that fast since it's running off a watch battery. This is running almost 2.5 times faster in continuous high flash photography than the NISSIN I60a or even the I40a is capable of. And so make sure you catch a glimpse of that. That was you know, a normal continuous high burst on this camera. Can't do that with the NISSIN I60a or the I40a. However, the I60a is the one for TTL. For the X-T2, and the I40a has been updated also for use with the X-T2. Let me turn both of these off and swap the batteries out. So that's something that I can't do, even in continuous high with the NISSIN I60a. And it is an awesome speedlight. I'm not actually dragging it down. I actually wanted to point out something, and I'll show you here in a second how fast continuous high shooting is with the NISSIN I60a. Extremely well made. It is made in China, but even now Nikon speedlights are made in China. They're not made in Japan anymore. Takes 4 AA batteries. Right now I'm using a Velo TTL cable. This is what I bitched about to Fuji for some time now. There's no professional photographer, photojournalists, and people that do paparazzi sort of stuff. They'll actually have a speedlight sitting in their hot shoe. A hot shoe, as much as, even though Fuji shows you this, as well as Canon and Nikon, a hot shoe ain't really made for speedlight, because the worst lighting in the world is always a speedlight sitting on the hot shoe of your damn camera. I have tons of TTL cables for a reason. If you ever see a professional street photographer, they'll have a TTL cable. By the way, the pinout for Fuji for their TTL cables is a Canon pinout. So it's not Nikon, it's a Canon pinout. Pinout means the pin orientation for communication, multi-pin, multi-wire communication from the hot shoe to the speedlight. So it is a Canon pinout, as I pointed out to you before in prior videos. By the way, this speedlight is really nice, made out of metal. The chassis door for the battery is also a metal hinge rather than plastic. Even Nikon's current speedlights are plastic. They're not metal hinged. Is $339, I believe, is the current price. See, right now I'm actually going to shoot in continuous high in manual, and remember how fast it was before in continuous high shooting. Right now I'm all manual across the board. I'm going to actually show you the difference. So it's, before I was ripping them off here, I don't know what my frame rate is per second, about 3 or 4 frames per second, and that's at even 800 ISO. So if I wanted to rip a bunch off for like sports or whatnot, you know, the reason why you see most professionals not using TTL, there's a lot of good reasons for that. Simplicity is divinity. Now, Fuji's new speedlight, which I will buy once it comes out, is really complicated, and it's not that I can't figure anything out. I can figure out anything instantly, said the guy who translates ancient Greek. The reason why professional photographers love these simple speedlights like this, like the Luma Pros and the old Nikons, is you just don't need a damn computer to control your flash output. You just don't. I mean, not an insane... Sometimes you do. Most of the time, you don't need that. This one is really simple. By the way, there's a slight error on the I60a so far as what they intend to tell you. Now in automatic mode, like in a Nikon Speedlight, there is a little sensor here that actually senses the light and actually quenches the flash. Now there's an automatic mode on the NISSIN I60, and then there's a TTL, but they're both TTL. Even in the user's manual, it basically tells you that. So what the hell is the difference between the green A and the TTL? No difference except for onboard. Let me turn it over to automatic now. And over here on, okay, I've already gone to TTL. It lets you do, let me turn it to TTL, it lets you do a flash compensation by plus or minus 2 stops in TTL. So the only difference between automatic and TTL, or A and TTL, they're both exactly the same. The only difference is in TTL, I can actually sit here and dial in plus 2 or minus 2 of flash compensation. And in A, I can't do a damn thing. It's locked in to full TTL. And then I would actually have to go into my camera's menu. You can't see it right now, but I'll show you in the next video. I have a hot button set for my flash modes, and then I'd actually come over here to TTL. I'd scroll over to flash compensation and dial in plus or minus 2 on my flash, which is a bit of a pain in the crotch. And I'm actually holding the flash out here. My thumb is right here on the dial, so I'd always have it in TTL unless I was afraid of bumping it. So A and TTL on the NISSIN I60 are the exact same damn thing. The only difference is TTL lets you do flash compensation from the Speedlight. Basically, there are only 3 modes on this. There's manual, which is pretty self-explanatory, but it's wonderful. This is where people I saw people online that were complaining. I don't know who was using the flash wrong, but this Speedlight does work in complete manual mode. Right now, let me go into aperture priority. There we go. This flash does work in all manual mode. There were a bunch of people that were reporting that it doesn't. They might have had version 3. I noticed on the box someone marked, they probably sent it back to Nissin, someone marked their V4 standing for version 4. It does come with a little worthless softbox attachment, a nice little case, and a little stand that the Speedlight will go into. I said $339. I talked to the head honcho at Minox, who is the importer of these NISSIN Speedlights, and he told me that and I don't give a damn, some people do, but there's no reason for them to. They care about wireless TTL, which is a total joke. Mostly it's a total joke. It's rather laughable. Wireless power control, as far as the Air Commander, that will be out later in November or December. I wasn't told the specific date. The same is true for applying the high-speed sync firmware update. So what I recommend for most of you to actually wait until this one has high-speed sync capability, which will be the exact same thing as this, except with a firmware update for high-speed sync capability. The way this is right now, it was actually startlingly, I can't even speak, startlingly good, unbelievably good. The fact that I can actually go into TTL and basically almost not look, I can just count the clicks. Say I was in manual mode. Right now I'm in TTL mode. I'm going to bring it to 0. I'm in aperture priority. I'm going to take a shot over here. I'm still in continuous high. Let's drop it into single. Okay, that's good, but I wanted to show some highlights, so I don't even need to look at it. I can actually come over here and I can just count by the clicks. 1, 2, 3, 4. What sort of compensation I've actually done. This is something that I can't do with any other Speedlight or even my Nikon system. This is really divinely wonderful. By the way, this is a Velo TTL cable. Don't buy the short one. The short one is way too damn short. The short cable, Canon, and this is the other thing also, since this is a Canon pinout, you think, well, I'm going to get the best TTL cable, so I'm going to buy a Canon TTL cable, but no. The actual factory Canon TTL cables are not only expensive, they are much, much crappier than this Velo cable. Now this is an OCS-C6, okay? Oscar Charlie Sam Charlie 6. Now this is a 6-foot cable. Okay, this is actually the perfect one. The other one is just too damn short. There should be actually a length between this one and the stupid short one, which is like 2 feet. There's 2 feet, 6 feet, and 12 feet. 12 feet is obnoxiously long unless you're using it on a light stand. And, you know, still, I've never... There is a use for that, but I don't think I've seen in 15 years anybody use like a 12-foot TTL cable. So this cable, TTL cable, is like $40. The Speedlight is $339. There's also a video setting which has 10 power, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Not very bright. If it were very dark, this would be enough to catch somebody at like 3 or 4 feet. That's not much of a feature, is it? I don't give a damn about that. I didn't buy this Speedlight for its ability to be used as a video. This really only has 2 modes, and the only thing that's going to be added to it, and it's extremely well built, by the way. By the way, this large bump right here, what that is a huge capacitor. Because this entire bottom body is a computer and 4 AA batteries. On a normal Speedlight, the capacitor is in the main body down here. You can see the size difference between these two. This is a normal size. This is actually a compact Nikon Speedlight. You can see the size of the Nissin. This bump at the top is just a huge capacitor cell. You ever heard of a Speedlight capacitor going off? It's happened to me about 4 times in life. Sounds like a gun going off. Anyway, it tilts and swivels just like any old Nikon Speedlight does. You have a power port here in the front, so you could actually add like a power pack, which is absolutely vitally important for wedding photography. That takes a Sony pin in. The video light. The IR illuminator, it'll even tell you in the manual, will never work if the camera has itself an IR illuminator, so that's completely useless, but it doesn't matter if it's really dark. The autofocus assist, not the IR illuminator, but the autofocus assist lamp will illuminate on the camera. Incredibly well made. It is made in China, designed in Japan. I've got the I40. This is a 60 guide number, hence the I60a. Is it worth it for $339? To me, it is. There's a lot of things, as I've told people 1,000 times. They go, well, you know, it doesn't have high-speed sync yet, and, you know, it's kind of expensive. Yeah, but it's made really well, and what I can do, and I've got, what have I got? I think I've got 40 Speedlights. What the hell can I do with this that I can't do with any of my other Speedlights? I can't go into a TTL mode here, and then bring it to 0. Once I've got it zeroed, okay, I don't know if I take a shot, for example, I chimp off that shot, it's like, well, that's not enough, I just need a little bit more. I don't have to look at my Speedlight, okay, you paying attention? I don't have to look at my Speedlight. I just raise it up 4 clicks. I know I'm going to stop in a third above where I was before. Take the shot. Yes. Homie knows me some Speedlights. I have messed with more Speedlights than anybody that you'll ever run into. Messed with them, owned them. I mean, I own a mountain of speed. It's an orgasmic feature. The fact that any other Speedlight, I'd have to look on there or look on the camera to adjust my flash compensation. This is what we call something that doesn't show up on the specification sheets. This is what professional photographers call the je ne sais quoi, or that orgasmic feature that they don't tell you about when you read the specifications. So it's like, well, you know, the flash doesn't, you know, it's an expensive Speedlight. I don't think it's really, you know, my style. And then you realize what you could do with it, okay? Because you never want to take your eye out of the viewfinder, okay? You take a shot, it's too dark. I gotta take my eye off, I gotta look at the camera and change my exposure. I don't have to do any of that crap. Okay, I'm re-zeroed again, I take the shot. Wherever I want to place the light, this is just for demonstration, obviously. Take the shot, I can chimp off of it in the camera. Oh, okay, well I need about another stop of compensation. You hear me clicking it with my thumb up here? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, take the shot again. Ah! Oh, baby. Oh, yeah. Really, really, really nice feature. I am not exaggerating on that. Once I realized that, when you attach the TTL cable between your X-T2 and your Speedlight, and by the way, you know, Shame on you, Fuji, for not having a TTL cable. No big deal, you know, you buy the VLO cable, but as soon as, of course, Fuji Speedlight isn't out yet, you know, it has some overheating issues. That Speedlight is going to be $450. So really, this is like $130 less. It's not as powerful, obviously, but it is better made. Fuji Speedlight ain't being made by Fuji. Fuji Speedlight being made by Metz. Now, a long time ago, when homie had Metz strobes, we didn't call them speedlights back then. When we had Metz strobes, and they were big honkers. Back in photography school, they were really well made and very dependable. And after I got out of photography school, their quality and everything else went, and they've kind of been down there. I don't know why Fuji chose Metz. They might have made a deal with the devil for some reason. I've not had my hands on one of the new Fuji Speedlights. I know it's got 10,000 fancy BS features. By the way, all those BS features are 99.9% never used by 99.9% of professional photographers. The only professional photographer I have seen demonstrating those BS features is Joe McNally. And the only reason Joe McNally does it for his videos is because he is a Nikon sponsored shooter. Joe McNally gets all the free speedlights in the world that he wants, but he shows you all the little stupid computerized features, which no professional really uses. Well, I have had need for them. I mean, wireless triggering, I have need for that. I'm talking about some of the really crazy features that are mostly useless, that most nobody uses, okay? TTL is nice. TTL is necessary for like wedding receptions, photojournalism, moving subjects, where you actually cannot calculate on the fly. I have said 1,000 times that too many people are sucking at the tits of TTL flash photography thinking that they need it, and the truth is, of course, that they don't. 90% of the time. I have never said, however, that TTL flash photography does not have its usefulness and does not have its place of necessary use. Okay, I've never said that. So some people have misunderstood what I've said. So far as what I'm concerned with is that I have like 20% or less of hardcore TTL capable speedlights, and the rest of them like this are old dummies. As I already proved to you, I can fire off a lot more shots per second on this really, really, really old speedlight than I can with this one. Okay, it's like, well, this one ought to be better. You know, it's modern, it's totally new. You know, all of them are like that. I can just rip them off in manual mode with this and a pair of pocket wizards. I just can. I can rip them off. Check out the second video, and I'll give you a close-up what I'm talking about here. But like I said, there's really only 4 dials on this. You have the video button, which is to me useless as there's a southern saying, useless as tits on a bowl. Manual mode, which is self-explanatory. Okay, you would not buy the Speedlight for manual mode. Not that I would not use it for that. I would. But A and TTL are both TTL. A and TTL and the Speedlight are the same damn thing. The only difference is that the TTL lets you, let me stick it in A, it just says TTL. You can't adjust anything, but when you drop it into TTL, you can actually adjust +2 or -2 of Speedlight flash compensation. And the fact that I could hear that, and then I know that 3 clicks is +1 or -1, depending on which way I turn it, and I don't have to take my damn eye out of the viewfinder, that is, oh my god, yeah. Oh, yeah. Or as, what was the guy, George Takei from Star Trek would say, oh my. Wait, this is me when I first realized that I could actually not take my eye out of the viewfinder. Okay, I'm going to chimp on that shot, check the lighting, raise it, I don't have to move my eye. Okay. Oh my! You catch my drift? I hope I made that self-explanatory. Check out the next videos, and I will show you what's up. With a close-up of what's going. Very, very nice. Is this worth, even without its current high-speed sync capability, is it worth $330? The answer to me, I cannot speak for you, is oh my, indeed it is. Absolutely. I don't suffer new toy syndrome. This Speedlight is made a lot better than the Fuji, and it has all the stuff that I want. It does. I'll be happy when they add high-speed sync to it, but right now this is perfect enough for me. I unlock it and drop it out the back there. So, thanks for watching. Catch you later. Bye. Oh!
Oh my.